For those of you that are new, here's a little introduction. My name is Palmer Verk, been cooking for over 12 plus years in all sorts of professional kitchens. So I thought I'd share some of that knowledge with you. And today's video is 10 things that we do as chefs instinctively that makes food taste better without even thinking, that you, the home cook, can learn how to do. So let me break these all down for you. So the first thing you want to consider is seasoning at each step. That's what our chefs do instinctively. We add salt to every part of the dish as we're cooking it because it builds up flavor. Sweating down some onions, put a bit of salt in. You're going to sear off your meat, put a bit of salt in. That way you've built up depth to that dish, and at the end you'll have a lovely seasoned dish rather than being overly salty, which is what a lot of home cooks do. They'll just season at the end. So that's the first really good thing to know. So number 2 is deglazing your pans. You see that wonderful golden crust at the bottom of a pan? Do not throw that out. That is called fond. And what we want to do with that is we want to lift all that flavor off the bottom of that pan. Deglaze it with some wine, some stock, make a wonderful pan sauce from all that lovely fond. So don't go chucking it in the sink, scrubbing it and washing it. That is a cardinal sin. Now, number 3, this one is huge, arresting your meat. We know instinctively how to do this as chefs in kitchens because we know that if you just cut into a piece of meat straight off the grill, all the juices are going to come flooding out. Now, general rule of thumb is rest it for as long as you've cooked it, or at least 5 or 6 minutes. That will definitely help you. And what that does is that redistributes all those juices back into that piece of meat, and it will make it plenty juicy indeed. So rest your meat, my friends, you will thank me. Number 4, finishing with acid. Fat without acid is very heavy. So we like to finish a dish either with citrus, vinegars, even pickled onions. Adding acid to the end of your dish is like turning the lights on in a room when you come home from the pub and you've had a bit too many drinks. By switching on that light, you're going to see where you're going. Otherwise, you're just going to trip in the dark and wake everyone up. So add a bit of acid to those dishes, my friend. It will lift up that dish like no man's business. Now, number 5 on our list, plating contrast. So the way you plate up a dish makes a huge, huge difference. Now, I've done a whole video on this, so I'll leave a link to that at the end of this. But basically in restaurants, contrast is a way that we can really develop a dish from different plating, from light to dark ingredients, negative space on the plate. There's a whole gambit. We even play around with different textures too. So watch that video to go into this one a little bit more. Now, number 6, very important indeed, mise en place, which means everything in its place. Our chefs do not start cooking until the knives are down, everything's prepped, and everything's ready to rock and roll. Mise en place is the backbone of every successful restaurant, pretty much in the world. If you don't have good mise en place, you ain't gonna have a good service, trust me on that one. So when you're cooking your dish at home, get everything ready beforehand. Get it all nice and organized so that when you come to cooking the dish, there's not gonna be too much drama for you. Now, number 7 deserves its own category, and that is butter. Yes, the secret to a lot of restaurants and a lot of chefs cooking is lots of butter, but not just butter for the sake of butter. We like to do things like butter emulsions, where we whisk in butter into hot water so it's more of a stable version, and then we can add that into sauces to kind of build them up. We put butter into regular sauces to kind of make it a bit more silky smooth. So butter is a wonderful ingredient that we can do all sorts of stuff with, especially if you work in classical French restaurants where butter is king. So invest in some good unsalted butter. That way you can control the salt levels in your dishes at home. Now, number 8, this is a very simple technique that you can do to just elevate everything, and that is using stock. Our chefs do it all the time. We're gonna make a risotto, we'll use a stock. We're gonna poach some vegetables, potatoes, we're gonna use a stock. We're not just gonna use plain water. So start using some stock instead of water and notice the difference. Now, number 9 is layering flavors. Our chefs know how to do this instinctively, but for the home cook, I want you to think about food like music. So you've got your base, onions, garlic, then you've got your mid, that's gonna be some herbs, that's gonna be some spices. Then you've got those high notes, that's gonna be finishing with acid or some kind of garnish of herbs. Start think of it in that term and start layering up that dish. Don't just think one note and put everything in and think it's gonna come out good. So build up your dishes, just as if you're making music, and you will be making sweet music in the kitchen, amongst other things. Now, number 10 is building texture. Texture is as important as taste. You will have a beautiful bowl of creamy pasta and think it's amazing, but put some toasted breadcrumbs on there or crispy prosciutto and see what happens. you will remember that dish. It will be taken to the next level. We know this as chefs, so we play around with texture all the time. So start thinking about that at home for your next dish, because that texture, that chew, is what's going to make you really remember that dish for a very long time indeed. Now, let me know in the comments below some of the things you would like to see or know about, and I'm sure we can make them together. If you find this video useful, please comment and please subscribe. It goes a long way, and it's a great way to support this channel that doesn't cost you anything and really helps us, because that would be amazing. And that's why we do these videos. We do them all for you. So I appreciate all of you. Okay, I'll catch you all on the next one.